It's showtime, folks. Enjoy the show.
That's right. Hey, you know what? If someone speaks and it's not recorded, does anyone hear it?
It didn't exist. Yeah. Nobody hears it. A fine Saturday matinee to you both, Steve, Andy. Welcome to morning.
Considering it's so early, you both are incredibly perky.
You're usually the one who's lead. Actually, it's really Steve who leads the charge on perkiness on Saturday mornings.
Woo! I just was trying to keep upbeat, you know, it's because it's bright and early, have some caffeine. Let's go. Let's do this thing.
We're supposed to, I believe we're supposed to talk about the Oscars. Is that what's on the agenda for the morning?
Oscar nominations are out. Yes, indeed.
I feel like I'm going to have exactly as useful a conversation about this as I did the Golden Globes.
No, it's slightly better. It should be slightly better, right?
Marginally.
Somewhat? Marginally?
I don't know. I feel like they just added more movies to the Best Picture. More movies that I'm still haven't quite caught up on.
I don't think they've added more. I mean, because obviously the Golden Globes had 10 nominees. And here
that's right. They actually have 8. They've had less.
Although Roma's in the mix now.
Yes.
So
yes.
Have you guys watched Roma yet?
Not yet.
No, I've not seen Roma, Bohemian Rhapsody, or Green Book, so I'm still behind on the same films.
Yeah,
but you have, the theaters are getting on board with this whole let's do a little screening of all the Oscar films. And interestingly enough, our local theater chain here, Harkins, they're promoting this, and it's $35 for your Oscar, what are they calling it, the Oscar Film Festival. And I looked, I said, wait, there's only 7 films there. What's going on? No Roma, because I guess they assume, well, you're just going to watch that on Netflix, or Netflix isn't allowing it back in theaters. Was that
it's
part of the deal?
It's not an assumption. The theaters, there's like this boycott thing going on. Because Netflix is a streaming service and the theaters are saying, nope, we're not going to have that.
I'm like, hey, here, take my money. Oh, no, you keep that and give it to Netflix. We don't want that money.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
And besides, you know who in the populace really cares about their little hissy fit? Exactly no one.
Yes.
Nobody is paying attention to their boycott of Netflix. Nobody cares.
Yeah. Except it's getting more talk right now because of that, and it makes me wonder if I doubt the theaters are going to buckle, but it's just one of those things. It's like, it's just a stupid thing. It's just not helping anybody.
Yeah. Yep, not helping anybody, and not people aren't saying. As a result, people aren't seeing. I think I know that Netflix released this thing about watching Roma and watching it on your cell phone.
Watching it on your phone,
whatever that's all about. It is a mesmerizing. Beautiful, strange meditation of a film, and I think I would love more than anything to see it on the big screen. I think it's a real shame for the film, because I think it would be terrific. But as I said, what I do is I put it on my computer and I put the screen about 3 inches from my face. And it works exactly the same way. It looks like IMAX, you guys.
That's awesome.
I can't see for about 6 hours after that, but it's fine. It's all fine.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Well, so if you guys had to fill in the other 2 slots, since the Academy found it fit to not do so, what would you guys put in there to bump it up to 10? Since they allow up to 10. They've never done it since they changed that rule, but if you could, what would you put in there?
Let's see. I think I mentioned in Discord, I think we were all in agreement this summer that 8th Grade was a really, really solid film.
Absolutely. 8th Grade would be one of them, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's, if you can have, something that's as outside, sort of the mainstream as like The Favorite, sort of that art house indie thing, then why not something like 8th Grade in there as well? So that would be one of my picks.
Okay.
And I think my challenge is, of course, I'd put Spider-Man in there, because I think Spider-Man should get a Best Picture nod for sure. And I hope that it takes animated feature film. Although, everything in the animated feature film category is terrific. And although I haven't seen Mira, so I guess I'm behind there. But the other movies that I think should probably be considered are movies I haven't seen yet, like At Eternity's Gate or The Wife. I've heard so much about those performances of Willem Dafoe and Glenn Close that it feels like, those are films that should be recognized, but I don't know why they weren't. But I haven't seen them, so I can't say yet.
Yeah, I hear that they're performance films, maybe not Best Picture quality, but to that end, I'm still curious about them. But yeah, for me, I'd put Spider-Man and If Beale Street Could Talk in there for those two slots.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
What about the acting categories? How are you guys feeling about those? Anyone missing for actor or actress as far as you guys are concerned?
I didn't do my homework to prep for this adequately,
I guess
Mr.
not.
Nelson.
I don't know. What do you think, Andy? Is that a loaded question? Do you have an answer on deck?
Well, I certainly would love to. I mean, it's nominating really young actresses is something. I mean, it happens every now and then, but it always seems to be one of those things where it's almost just like a nod to the strength of their performance, but they're not going to win, except in the odd cases of kind of supporting, like from the piano with Anna Paquin.
Yeah.
But I still would love to have seen Elsie Fisher in there from 8th grade. I thought her performance really captured
deserved it. Yeah.
Everything in that film. It was really pretty wonderful. And I haven't seen Roma, so I can't comment on Yalitza Aparicio, but and I haven't seen Can You Ever Forgive Me, but I love Melissa McCarthy. Still, my pick has to be Olivia Colman. I think she's so good. But with Glenn Close having won a Golden Globe, I mean, the two of them now are kind of I don't know if we'd call them the front runners, but Elsie Fisher for me is the big one that's missing right there. But in supporting, I thought Amy Adams was fine in Vice, but I certainly wouldn't have put her in there. It wasn't a performance that stood out. I much rather, I don't know who I would put in her place. Probably Margot Robbie from Mary Queen of Scots would have been a choice I would have gone with.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, although, what do you think about the front runners in that one? If Amy Adams is obviously not the one that we're as excited about, is it between Regina King and the women from The Favorite?
I think the women from The Favorite are going to cancel each other out, and I think Regina King will take it.
Oh, I think so.
Although,
too.
again, I haven't seen Roma.
I think the story about Roma is all in, Yalitza Aparicio and, her story, not being an actress and, kind of taking the film.
Yeah.
So I think if anything pushes her as a front runner, is that she's the one that stands out as the non-performer who did something magical. So that'll be interesting to see.
So did you like Marina de Tavira in that film?
Yes, very much. Although, hearing how you talk about If Beale Street Could Talk, I think that's probably the one. Since I still haven't seen it.
I'd love to see Regina King take an Oscar home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actor?
I mean, Christian Bale's great. Yeah. He got a lot of grief after his speech at the Golden Globes. So I don't know if that's going to affect things. Rami Malek, I hear, is great. I know you loved his performance, Pete.
Yeah, I was a big fan.
Personally, I would prefer to see Bradley Cooper win because, I just thought there was such honesty in his performance there. I feel like he's getting a weird backlash for having done so much on the film that weirdly seems to be affecting him. And I hate that because I thought he was so good in the movie.
What done so much? What do you mean? I guess I'm not aware of this backlash.
He directed it. He wrote it. He did all the vocal training to sing his own songs. And
then and then people are
like he's putting like actors out of work or something. What is going on?
I don't know.
No, it's like I saw an article. They said it's like sort of the same backlash that Ben Affleck got, where everybody was just like, they're like Bradley Cooper's, the next Ben Affleck, where it's like, here's this person that's able to do a lot of things. And there's just, for some reason, this pushback and backlash of like, oh, you're too talented, you're annoying, or something like that. I don't
Yeah.
understand it because I really enjoyed A Star Is Born, and I was really surprised that he didn't get a directing nomination for
Yeah,
that.
that
Wow.
disappointed me.
I don't care for that kind of talk at all.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
I think it doesn't help that he's also one of those actors who is not a huge fan of talking to the press.
Yes.
You know, and I think that just doesn't help because people want to see him being gracious and nice and funny and all that sort of stuff. And he's, you know, tends to be a little more, I don't want to say dismissive, but maybe just not interested when he's
Yeah.
doing his interviews. So, but it's a shame because I think he's great. And like you mentioned, Pete, I hear Willem Dafoe is really amazing in At Eternity's Gate.
How about supporting role? Can we talk a little bit about Green Book and how stupid it is?
I want to see Sam Elliott win. I really, really do. And I think because he got nominated, I think everybody wants to see him win now, especially
I
after
think
his
so.
comments
Yeah.
after he was nominated. I hear Richard E. Grant is amazing in Can You Ever Forgive Me? But yeah, I absolutely want Sam Elliott to take it.
I think if I just, for the record, Mahershala Ali should have gotten the Best Actor nod for Green Book. It's really
Yes.
frustrating, and my hunch is, I don't know, you guys seem to be more astute on this than I am, but my hunch is that they didn't want two Best Actors, both of those guys getting Best Actors, because they would do the favorite thing and they would cancel each other out. But what are you going to do? But Mahershala Ali should have gotten the Best Actor, not out of that. If
So-
they're going to split him, it should have been him
And Vigo as supporting.
as supporting. Yeah.
Yes.
Interesting.
He was literally supporting Mahershala Ali in the movie. He was the driver. He was the supporting role literally the supporting function. And they didn't take it. The people who made that movie don't understand what they made.
But yes, and editor's note: go see Film Board, The Green Book, for more information about this.
Yes.
Ugh, I still need to watch that one.
You're going to
No,
love it.
no,
I'm sure you're
no,
going to love
no,
it
you don't.
because
No,
of
you
the way
don't.
this is all turned out. It's going to be your best movie of the year.
I know. I'll probably say it should have been Best Picture.
Oh, gosh.
It's number one on my flick chart.
Oh, Lordy. Yuck.
Oh, so
my.
funny.
Okay.
The what else? Any other things? Oh, you know, I have to comment on the best songs. I try to as soon as that's a very easy one to like check off your list of things things to prep for before Oscars. So I listened to all 5 of those.
Yes.
And I was just like, seriously, this is what they're going with? All the Stars from Black Panther, fine. It's fine. It's not a bad song. It's fine. I'll Fight from RBG is so forgettable. And the Cowboy song from the Ballad of Buster Scruggs.
I love that song.
It's cute. It's done in kind of the spirit of the old cowboy tunes from 100 years ago. But it's just freaking boring. I just really didn't like it. For me, I could fill it with all 5 of spots from A Star Is Born because they're so strong. But I'm fine throwing a Mary Poppins song in there. I really love the song from Ralph Breaks the Internet, which I thought was really kind of a funny twist on Disney princess songs. But honestly, I mean, it's a shame that they only put one Star Is Born song forward. I guess because again, they're maybe trying to avoid the favorite dilemma.
Yeah. I agree. As I saw the nominations, I had just seen RBG because it's on Hulu. Just watched it like 2 weeks ago, and I said, "What? There was a song in that movie? What? I don't remember this at all. Everything else, I thought,
and she sings it. Don't you remember?
yes,
I can't
exactly.
believe it.
No,
The RBG song.
yeah, exactly. And then now I haven't seen the Mary Poppins, so I don't know. And that's another one where I thought there would have been maybe more than one from
Easily
that.
could have been.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So I don't understand, but that's
I want to jump to directing because we've got it's an interesting matchup with Spike Lee, and I haven't seen Cold War, but Yorgos Lanthimos from The Favorite, and Adam McKay's gotten a nod again for Vice, and Alfonso Cuarón, he's up again for Roma. What do you think?
I haven't seen Cold War either. I was actually it really piqued my curiosity that two of the films nominated for Best Foreign Film, the directors are in here. Now, I mean, granted, Roma is also nominated for Best Picture, but still, it was an interesting surprise I wasn't expecting. I love seeing Yorgos Lanthimos in there, absolutely. Adam McKay, I actually felt he over-directed Vice a little bit. If anything, I would say I agreed more with his writing nomination more than directing. I don't know. I felt like it was a little too much this time. I thought it worked really nicely for
The Big Short.
Big Short, yeah. But this one, it was just, I think he was going a little too far, and so I wouldn't put him in there at all. I loved seeing Spike Lee in there. I think that's great. If I had to pick somebody else, I actually would go with the Spider-Man directors. I thought they did an amazing way putting that thing together in one of the most creative films of the year.
I think Alfonso Cuarón might take it.
You think it's interesting if you look at the trend of best directors over the past few years, because he got it in 2013 for Gravity, and then you had Alejandro doing a back-to-back with Birdman and The Revenant. And actually, I think Damien Chazelle is the only American that has won in this decade, because you had Tom Hooper in 2010 for The King's Speech, and has Vicious for The Artist. So and Ang Lee, Life of Pi. So again, when we look at
there's one I forgot.
Yes, and then it goes back to Catherine Bigelow in 2009 for The Hurt Locker. So we don't have a lot of American directors that are getting best director. I appreciate that we've got a lot of diversity in that, but then if Cuarón wins, then it's like, okay, he's got two, and in Alejandro.
Are you making the spread the wealth argument?
No, I'm just saying, look at the quality of. No, I'm not making spread the wealth.
Okay.
It's where are the quality American directors? They need to raise their game. They need to raise their game. Now, there have been some, I mean, you had P.T. Anderson last year and Greta Gerwig, but and Jordan Peele, I guess. But I think, I don't know if the Academy is taking that approach of we're going to be a little bit more diverse in this. If there's been, I don't know, pressure or concern about the Oscars being so white, I don't know. But
I would love to have seen Barry Jenkins in there for Beale Street to Talk also.
Yeah.
So if I had my druthers, again, I haven't seen Cold War or Roma, but just for the sake of argument, I'm going to cancel one of those and Vice, and then I'll throw the Spider-Man directors and Barry Jenkins in there. So I'm putting some more Americans in there for you.
There you go. Okay.
But of the choices, and again, I've only seen 3 of the 5. I feel like I'd go with Yorgos Lanthimos. The directing in The Favorite was stellar work, but I'm totally content if Spike Lee takes it. I thought Black Klansman was just, I think it's his best film.
I'd be excited for any one of these directors to win, even for the films I haven't seen. There isn't a name in here that I'm not interested in seeing elevated with with an About Time kind of an award. If Adam McKay wins, he wins it for The Big Short just as much as he would win it for this one.
Yes.
So. Anyway, let's any other categories you guys want to weigh in on?
Just going back to music, I have to jump into the score real quick. It's a weirdly nominated thing there too. I would not put Black Klansman in. I don't think it's Terrence Blanchard's best.
Yeah.
If Beale Street Could Talk has great themes, but I don't know if I'd have picked it. Isle of Dogs is just like Japanese drumming for the soundtrack, so I don't know why that one was even considered. I think Black Panther and Mary Poppins Returns are great, and I know people found the film to be generally pretty boring, but I think Solo, the score actually is a really
great.
Fun ride.
Yeah.
And I don't know what else I'd put in there, but I'd certainly take at least those 3 out. And of the choices, I think Mary Poppins Returns should win because Mark Shaman did an amazing job of making an incredibly consistent score that feels very much at home with what the Sherman Brothers did back in the 60s with the original film.
I think that'll probably take it as a result of exactly what you just described. Like it's the most of a family And that is an incredibly difficult thing to do.
Yeah, but Black Panther could take it because it is pretty impressive with the amount of kind of the African instrumentation that Goranson brought into it. And I wouldn't be disappointed if that won. But still, I think Mary Poppins Returns probably deserves it more.
Yeah.
Speaking of Black Klansmen, or no, not Black Klansman, Black Panther. I got to keep my film straight. That was one where usually going to costume design, it's usually the period pieces when you've got the favorite in there. But when you look at Black Panther, and I was just watching on the Infinity War on iTunes, one of the extras is this director's roundtable. And they've got James Gunn and Jon Favreau and Ryan Coogler and, oh my gosh, the
Russos.
the brothers, the Russos. And they're talking about everything. And they said what was really interesting for Coogler was his challenge was he didn't get to cast Black Panther. That had already been decided before, so he had to deal with that casting decision. He said it was great. I had to, was looking forward to working with, Chadwick Boseman, but what everybody else said was he got to focus on world building because he had character already there. And to me, that is really the strength of Black Panther, is looking at the costume design and creating Wakanda. Everybody else just dealt with, we're shooting in New York, we're shooting in,
right,
Europe. He had to create an entire new world. It's sort of like Lord of the Rings scale of you've got the different tribes and the costumes and that whole world. And for me, I would really like to see that film recognized for the costume design, production design of really creating within the Marvel Cinematic Universe, a really sort of unique world in this superhero film.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I think that's for production design, for costumes, for all of those. The interesting one for me, and I think in that regard too, is for visual effects. That the Black Panther does not get nominated, but they throw Infinity War in there. Again, because Black Panther dominates every other category for Marvel, it seems like they had to do that. But another interesting mix of films to look at visually.
Yes.
With Infinity War, Ready Player One, Solo, First Man, and Christopher Robin.
Hey, the visual effects in that were incredible.
They were absolutely incredible. I'm not saying that. It's just weird saying it with that list of other films.
Yes.
Yeah, it is actually a pretty solid list, though. I haven't seen First Man, but I'm assuming it's the Apollo 13 level visual effects.
No, there's not a lot of it's more subtle.
Yes, and shaky. There's a lot
shaky. There's a lot of shaky.
Vibration. They should be a special category for visual vibration effects. It's like a subcategory. First Man would take it.
Now, I think if you go back and listen to the film board on that one, you might think they could get visual effects if they were able to give Ryan Gosling emotions in that movie.
Steve, for crying out loud. Do not. That is weak sauce.
Oh, well. All right.
Let's do trailers.
Let's do it.
Do we have an A24?
You tempted me with a red band.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Although, predictably, you did not take it. You did not take
that's because it looks like something I will absolutely hate. I'll let you pick it, and then I can complain about it.
Well, I'm not doing that, but I will go first. I'm doing Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil, and Vile. How into the Ted Bundy thing were you guys? When it was going on?
I watched the Mark Harmon TV movie. But I think I was too young for my parents to want me to be paying too much attention to it. At the time. So I think I didn't. I think the Mark Harmon TV movie was my first introduction to that, and it was a pretty horrific story to learn about.
Yeah, it's a terrible story. It's a really terrible story, and I think the Mark Harmon TV movie actually was good. I think it was really solid, and Mark Harmon did an apt performance of this terrible, person. But man, when this trailer comes on and you see Zac Efron embody Ted Bundy, this horrific serial killer who is known predominantly, beyond kidnapping and killing young women, predominantly for his charisma. It's like he's born to play this role. I thought he was born to just be the showman, the song and dance showman, but he has, this trailer blew me away. With his performance, because I was a little bit addicted when I went through my American Psycho phase. I was a little bit addicted with watching Ted Bundy stuff, and I feel like this is really going to be this is going to be a big one for him if people can get over the fact that it's about a real life, truly horrific figure. But what I like so much about the film is that it is a perspective film that's shown from the perspective of his girlfriend, Elizabeth Klopfer, who is put in this position of having to figure out, hey, I think I'm hearing these rumors that you're kind of a bad guy and I need to adapt to this new world. And it's a Valley of Despair movie when you discover your boyfriend's a serial killer, played by Lily Collins. I think she just looks great in this thing. We have John Malkovich as a surly judge, and we get just a little bit of some of the antics that Bundy pulled in the courtroom. But overall, it looks vaudeville, but what's so funny about it is that that is how it was. That's how it came across. That's how he sort of ran the media at the time. And so to me, this movie, it's directed by Joe Berlinger, written by Michael Vervey, and I think this is going to be a movie about this historical figure, but every bit about media and relationships. And I'm very much looking forward to this film.
Yeah, I've got some buddies who worked on it, and I've heard nothing but amazing stories. They're actually up at Sundance now with it, and not in any capacity where they're on stage answering questions or anything like that, but I think just thrilled to have been a part of a movie that they're so proud of, and so I am very much excited about this one. I've been hearing about it for a while, and I cannot wait to see what Zac Efron brings to the table with it.
Yeah, I should add, the IMDb 6-star rule. This right now, not very many votes, but you guys, 9.4 on the IMDb 6-star rule.
Well, Pete, if you need more Ted Bundy, and I started getting paranoid because I watched this trailer and then I start up Netflix, and what is featured? The Netflix Ted Bundy documentary series. And I thought, is Netflix now spying on my internet traffic? What is going on?
Everybody's spying on your internet traffic.
It's freaking me out. I watched this Ted Bundy trailer. Now Netflix is like, hey, here, watch this documentary series about Ted Bundy, you creep. But no, I am really impressed. This was not on my radar at all, but I am really looking forward to this one. I'm not a huge fan of like serial killer things, but there are some, that have been done really well in the past couple of years. The Netflix series, that David Fincher was behind, was that Mindhunter, I believe?
I didn't watch that one. Wow. I can't believe I didn't catch that.
Oh, it's amazing because it is really about the original like profiling of serial killers and these two agents that are trying to figure this whole thing out, and they coined the phrase serial killer. It's a great series. I highly recommend it if you're into this sort of true crime piece. It's really well done, really compelling series on Netflix, and I'm dying for season 2 to come out.
Noted.
Yes.
This one, the only release date we've got is Sundance. It's the January 26th, 2019 is its big premiere. And, that means today. So it's getting its premiere today. I'm hoping to see that IMDb rating stay right where it is. I guess what's the usual lag time from Sundance? A movie this popular is probably going to get picked up for distribution right away. We're going to see it in the fall. It looks like it's like a winter movie. Yeah. Feels very much like I think we'll see it towards the end of this year, but
that's when I would hope to see it.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's it.
Whereas I've got, Ridiculous Summer Fun movie that's coming out on February 8th. because a movie about a legendary American war veteran that is recruited to hunt a mythical creature, if it's not on sci-fi, that's your summer fun movie for kids. But as I said on Discord, this is why I'm really pulling for Sam Elliott, because I want this movie. I cannot wait for the ads, the posters to say Oscar winner Sam Elliott in The Man Who Killed Hitler and Then the Bigfoot. Because this movie is bonkers. I came across this. It's written and directed by Robert Krusowski. He previously directed a little short called Elsie Hooper that was based on an online comic that he wrote, but this is his first feature film, and I don't know what to make of it, because it takes itself so earnestly of Sam Elliott as this like war veteran, and the government agents track him down because they know he was part of this secret plot that killed Hitler, and they need him to take out Bigfoot, who apparently is carrying the next plague. And if Bigfoot isn't taken out, it's going to cause, just massive, deaths on a, global scale because of whatever virus the Bigfoot is carrying. So they recruit him to take out the Bigfoot. How can this movie not be fun? I'm thinking Andy, I had said the whole Nazis in space thing. I think this one just becomes part of that binge that I do where I've got Nazis on the moon, and then, here's the other version where Hitler dies, and then we go after the Bigfoot. So February 8th. I mean, it's...
I can't wait for this movie.
I love that they call it the Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Also,
yes.
which is I've never heard, but it's so absurd, the whole thing. But you're right. It's unlike the Sky Sharks type of story. This one it's like a very serious story about this guy who's really doing all this. So I don't know. It makes me laugh watching this, because I feel like they're being very serious with it, but it looks, I don't know, it looks bonkers still.
It's a funny movie because it feels like they take the opening, which is very literal. He kills, Hitler, and then it's a metaphor for killing Hitler in killing the Bigfoot. And it is a movie that's taking it it's so meta in its kind of weird self-critique. I'm looking forward to it. I think Sam Elliott's I think he's just gonna dominate in this movie. I cannot wait. But I have to bring up oh God goodness, what's his name? Livingston.
Ron
Livingston
yeah.
is
yes.
Man, look, that guy's still around. I've missed him. I've missed him so much. I feel like I haven't seen his face in a number of years, and I really like that guy, and I'm excited to see him on the big screen again.
Well, you can do that on February 8th, hopefully.
Outstanding.
Well, all right. For my trailer, Pete really wanted me to continue the Zac Efron trail, but I just couldn't go with that one. So I went with a film that I thought looked much more interesting. It's called The Death and Life of John F. Donovan, or I think the French version, it's My Life with John F. Donovan. I was kind of, it piqued my curiosity when I saw the trailer, because it has a lot of people that I like in it. And, there's Kit Harington, Natalie Portman, Jacob Tremblay, Susan Sarandon, Kathy Bates, Tandy Newton. Apparently, what's her name? Was in it too before she was left on the cutting room floor. I can't even remember at this point. Jessica Chastain. She's left on the cutting room floor. I don't know who does that to Jessica Chastain.
One does not do that to Jessica Chastain.
Wow.
But it was done here. It looks like a really interesting story about a young boy who sent a letter to a famous actor and started this. The actor actually wrote back, and they became pen pals, but it was like this secret. And then later in life, the actor kills himself, I believe. And this boy, now grown up as an actor, is, kind of reveals this relationship, this story that he had with this person as a kid. It sounds really interesting. I like the vibe of it. I like the feel that I get from Kit Harington as this actor who's struggling with his place as being this famous person and what all that means and everything. But but I've got to say, as you know, okay, it's got the 5.9 on IMDb, so makes me a little worried. And then I read about it because it premiered at Toronto this past fall, and it has just been panned by critics. Like, everybody hates it. They say it's soapy, it's clumsy, it's a dubious mess, it's major flaws, it's half-baked, cumbersome, overlong psychodrama. With all of that, I don't know if I'm excited about it anymore. It makes me sad because I think it looks like it has the potential to be really interesting. This is the first English language film directed by Javier Dolan, who has made such films as Mommy, which got quite a bit of praise when it came out. I hadn't seen it, but I remember hearing quite a bit about it. Also, I Killed My Mother, and It's Only the End of the World. But I don't know. I guess I was excited when I saw this trailer, and now I feel a little concerned. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I'm there with you because it reminded me of what was that Will Smith one from like a couple years ago that had like with Kate Winslet, and it was like some spiritual thing. And I'm like looking at this cast, Collateral Beauty. They came out, and it was like
that was one where they used the words "collateral beauty" in the movie, and I was like, yes. "Screw you! I'm not seeing this stupid thing."
But you look at that cast. I mean, Will Smith, Ed Norton, Kate Winslet, Helen Mirren, Keira Knightley. I mean, just like you're like, wow, here's this great cast. And but then, yes, you've got this high drama, this melodrama going on, and it has the potential for being a really powerful movie or just being a disaster. And that's my concern with this. I hadn't heard anything about it. I watched this trailer, said, wow, this is an amazing cast, really interesting concept, but I feel like as you start to peel away or ask questions like, well, what is this really about, the relationship between these two? It's got to say something really important. And it seems like in the trailer, it's teasing at that of, what it means to be a celebrity. And we've got some scenes where, he's John F. Donovan's talking about, is he taking the place of somebody else that should be, famous like this? And, what does that mean? And those are a lot of, they're big questions. They're complex issues. And if it's not handled well, it'll spiral into just what it sounds like it has become, which is not very good.
Well, that was my first reaction to it. Was I just don't understand what story they're trying to tell.
Yes.
Is this a story about a weird, like it becomes? Is it a thriller? Is it like a weird? Did Kit Harington do something wrong? Was it like a weird sort of incest story? Was he trying to or not incest, but is it a weird like child abuse story? Is there like some sort of inappropriate relationship? Is that what we're supposed to get? I'm just not sure what the story is that they're trying to tell, and it didn't make me feel provoked in a good way, right? It just made me a little frustrated, not intrigued, and so it is. I think the Collateral Beauty parallel is really good because I think it's a great cast, and on that level, it does intrigue me. It provokes me to want to look further, but it just didn't. It didn't connect. The trailer. It's not a great trailer, I guess, in that regard. It's not a great trailer for me. That it doesn't it doesn't tell me enough about what should intrigue me. It just presents a lot of signal or a lot of noise and less signal for the story. So I struggle with it.
Yeah. Well, it like I said, it premiered at Toronto last fall. It's got a release in Italy and France in March, and that's it. It hasn't been announced anywhere else. So I wonder if it's going to be something that kind of disappears, and maybe down the road, Steve and JJ will resurrect it and discuss it on the Trailer Rewind to see
eager Trailer Rewind fodder.
Well, it's something that won't give JJ nightmares or put him on an emotional roller coaster that I've done the past few times. So yes, he might appreciate something like this. Although this is one of those things where, again, the suicide may be, how is that handled? Is that on screen, and is it really about that emotional arc?
It's on Wikipedia, it says the film deals with themes of celebrity, tabloid media in Hollywood, mother-son relationships, and homosexuality, which makes me think that the suicide dealt around that and his role as an actor. And I can see that actually unfolding in an interesting way, but it just sounds like it didn't happen.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well.
All right.
Anyway, there's my trailer.
Let's do it. Let's do the list.
Okay.
I got a lot of movies on my list, you guys. A lot.
Yeah, so we went with Rocky, and the listeners picked it doesn't always matter about winning.
That's right. It's
That's
not
right.
always about the winning.
Isn't everything. All right. I'm going to go first because
Yes.
I went first on the last one. Now I'm going to do a movie that it was a hard one to watch. It's a 1989 film that I really liked. I really liked because I still listen to the score in regular rotation. The score is beautiful and haunting. And as it happens, at the end of the film, every main character is shot and killed in a brutal Civil War battle scene. This is Glory. It is that final charge on the big fort. And Matthew Broderick, he goes first, and then they raise the flag, and everyone else is shot and buried in a mass grave. And it is really disappointing. And that is the theme, I think, of all of my picks, that it almost doesn't matter, how if there's any sort of tie at the end. The films that I picked are so sad at the end that they don't feel all that great. So anyway, I'm starting with
You're
Glory.
not going for inspirational losses.
I found it hard to land inspirational losses on my list. They just didn't come. Well, we'll see. We'll see how I do. But that's my first film is Glory, brutal battle. Every main character is dead at the end of the film.
Wow.
It's not always about winning.
It's not.
No,
always about
it
winning.
isn't. But it doesn't have to make you depressed. But you want to just.
Oh, you just
life's
wait.
not.
Just
Okay.
wait.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
All right, Steve, what's yours?
Okay. All right. This is a film that I just stumbled across, and okay. See if you remember this movie, because it's one that flew under the radar. It's got Joel Edgerton, Tom Hardy, Nick Nolte, Frank Grillo, Jennifer Morrison. 2011.
No,
Ring any bells?
Saw it. I know what you're talking about, but I've never watched it.
You've never seen. Oh my gosh! When it comes to movies that aren't about winning, when you've got two brothers that have been, separated, out of touch with each other, and they just happen to enter the same mixed martial arts, competition to prove that they're the best, and they each have legitimate reasons, and it comes down to the two of them. It's really not about who wins, but it's really about the reconciliation between these brothers in this final fight in the cage in 2011's Warrior. I love this movie because I didn't know what to expect from it, and as we build towards the big fight, I'm like, it's not like you're rooting for one brother over the other, because they each have their own reasons for why they're doing this that you fully understand. So I thought, I'm fine with either one of them winning. So it's not really about the winning. It's about these two brothers. And that's my first pick on this list. And you don't want to die after watching this movie. It's very invigorating. Although it does make you not want to ever approach Tom Hardy, because he is just so bulked up in this, and the way he takes guys out. There was one scene where he just walks in the ring, just decks the guy in the face. Guy goes down, he walks out. It's like a 5-second fight. It's amazing. Don't mess with Tom Hardy in this movie. He's a beast.
Of course, don't
I'd
ever
love to
mess
see
with
that blended with Venom. So
yes.
In the middle of the fight, he just venoms out and eats the other guy.
While wearing the Bane mask, so you can't understand what he's saying. Yes.
All right. Well, I'm going to try keeping my list. I have a variety, and I certainly have a number of options that are the dark version that Pete's traveling down. But I think I'm going to keep mine light and inspiring sports films.
Okay.
Just to counterpoint
inspiring sports films where it's not about winning. Okay.
Where it's not about winning.
I'm curious.
My first pick it's a movie that I don't think was perfect. And it certainly isn't completely accurate to the realities of the true Olympic tale that it's based on. But I still got all the feels at the end of 1993's Cool Runnings that John Turteltaub directed. This was, of course, about the Jamaican bobsledders, and they're trying to win, but in the end, they don't. They crash. and they don't win the Olympic medal. But what they do is pick up their bobsled and walk it across the finish line to thunderous applause. And it was very inspiring just to see that it's just like Rocky. It's about finishing. It's not necessarily about winning. So that's my first pick, Cool Runnings.
That's a good pick.
Haven't seen it. I
feel good about that pick.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It still is inspiring. And I will say, John Candy as their trainer,
that was
a really nice role to see him pop up in this. But it's a fun cast. I had a lot of fun with it. So
Okay.
Anyway, give it a try.
All right. So for a not fun movie, Pete, what do you have for us?
You guys, the list is so long of movies that make me feel like crap. Movies where you think the message is we're gonna change the world with how good we feel about things, and then we're gonna rip the carpet right out from under you. You're gonna fall and on your head, and you're gonna walk out of the film in a complete daze. This movie in particular is one that I went into thinking, wow. This is going to change the way I think about doing things for other people. It's going to change the way I think about my relationship with the world around me. It's going to make me, it's when someone does something for me, I'm going to pay it forward. It is the story of young Haley Joel Osment, and his efforts to pay the favor forward. He does a favor for 3 people, asking them to pay it forward, and you think, oh, this is going to be great. And then you know what else? It's about like cigarette burns on skin. And then finally, young Trevor gets stabbed. He's stabbed in the schoolyard and he dies. What are you doing, movie? I hated that so much. He did not win. He did not win the movie. This is the worst thing ever. Director Mimi Leder, screenplay Leslie Dixon. You're smart and wonderful people, and oh my God. You may continue.
I hated that movie so much.
Yeah.
Kudos for having the balls to put it on your list.
This is like all of my movies share this kind of feeling. Like it is like go watch I'm sure you could find the YouTube clip of the end if you want to see why this movie doesn't turn it around and doesn't pay it forward and you'll never want to watch it again. This is why. It's like My Girl. Ugh,
no.
What a terrible
that was a good movie though. This was not a good movie.
But there's nothing about My Girl where you think this is going to be a movie about winning, right? Unless you think getting the girl is winning.
No. And that's why I wouldn't put it on this particular list. But it's that same feeling. You're gonna take this. We're moving in a direction where we're characters are changing, and then they're stabbed in the schoolyard or attacked by bees, and they're kids. Yeah. All right.
Well, if anything, it's ended up giving me a few free coffees from time to time when I go through the line of Starbucks and somebody's decided to pay it forward.
I'm all over that. But I guarantee you, none of those people have seen this movie, or they would not be paying for your coffee.
They're waiting for me to stab them after.
Yes. Okay. On a lighter note. We're going to 2000, and we're going to Peyton Reed, and for a while, I considered this a guilty pleasure. But then it spawned this ridiculous franchise. But you go back to 2000, the original Bring It On, where it's about cheerleaders discovering they're using stolen routines, and so we go to the national championships, and they have after all kinds of disasters, their own original routine. They end up not winning, and you feel fine with that because the Clovers are the ones that deserve to win. And for our Toros, the fact that they were able to put their own routine, original material together and perform is satisfying enough. And this one it's one to put in your rotation to watch every couple of years because it's just has such a great tone. It's so much fun, and you can see that why they would have selected Peyton Reed for the Ant-Man franchise. It's just, yes, I love this movie.
You stole my number one.
Oh, outstanding.
Excellent. Steal. Okay.
I'm going to have to go with the dark one for my number one now. It's
All
on
right.
you, man. It's on you.
Okay, that's fine.
But yeah, Bring It On is such a great movie. I really just totally fell in love with it, which totally surprised me.
Yeah.
It's that good.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
That was definitely on
All
my
right.
list, but the list was so long.
What are you talking about? You've got
you need
the
to stick
dark
with
depression
darkness.
list. What is that? Yeah, no. Denied.
For my number two, I am I'm looking at a directorial debut from Drew Barrymore, 2009's Whip It,
yes.
which is really, it's not the greatest film, but it kind of like my last film. It's fun enough, and it kind of gives you the feels. It's about a young kind of misfit girl whose mom's a former beauty queen and wants wishes that she would get into that sort of stuff, but she ends up falling in with some roller derby ladies and joins the Hurl Scouts. And it's just this really fun story where Ellen Page totally gets into this world of roller derby competition. And with her team, they push to win, but in the end, they don't. But that's okay, because it's really about them all getting along finally. And at the end, it wins with them chanting, "We're number two! We're number two!"
Yes.
Which was great. So I had a lot of fun with this one. Again, it's not perfect, but, Drew Barrymore, I think, brings a lot of the right stuff to it. So it's definitely worth checking out. Whip It.
Totally. And it's one of those movies that it's in a world that I don't live in that world.
Right.
And
right.
so I feel like I learned something, Yeah, it was great. So is it my turn? Is it number 3 already?
Yeah, number 3.
How am I going to narrow this down, you guys? I'm going to save like 9 for bonus picks.
Okay.
And I'm going to turn it on its ear a little bit. I'm going to turn it on its ear. This is a film of my youth. This film was released April 7th, 1976. So needless to say, I did not see it when it came out. I saw it probably, 8 or 10 years later. It is the story of a poor baseball team that just can't quite get it together. And as it turns out, they never quite get it together, but they do get the free beer. This is the Bad News Bears. Nobody dies in this movie. As far as I remember, does anybody die? I don't think anybody dies. Nobody's stabbed. No children are stabbed.
Drink beer and smoke cigarettes.
No, it's pretty much all it is. And my memory of this movie is a wonderful one. Walter Matthau is obviously always transcendent as the drunk ex-baseball player. But we also get young Tatum O'Neal. We get young Jackie Earle Haley. We get these young actors that were really terrific as the Bears, as the kids. And I just have a great feeling about this. And at the end of the film, they lose 7-6. They don't win the championship, but they do have the satisfaction of coming a long way. There you go. Bad News Bears. Did I steal it from anybody?
No.
It was on my list.
All right.
So it was the other positive sports movie I was going to go with. But anyway.
All right.
I'm going negative. So, Steve, what's your final pick?
Okay. So my final pick is one of my favorite ones because it's about competition and kids, because it really is about doing your best, not necessarily winning. And when we've got a protagonist that we've been following along through their struggles and sees that their competitor has this just really, one of those crazy parents that it's all about winning and that's all that matters. And our hero is willing to say, you know what, if it's more important to that dad that he win, then I'm fine with this. But ultimately her opponent says, no, I want you to bring your best game. So if I'm going to win, it's truly winning, and they end up in a tie when it comes down to the spelling bee in Aquila and the Bee. They end up in a tie because it's not about winning; it's about doing your best and learning who you are. Great movie for kids. If you haven't seen it, I think I've probably mentioned it on the show a couple of times, but it is one of my favorites.
Totally.
I haven't seen it. I need to watch it.
It's
Yes,
just
that's one to
lovely.
sit down with your kid. Your
Yeah.
kids will love this movie.
It's so much better than Pay It Forward
Yes,
on the Pay
Yes,
It Forward
it is.
scale.
Yes.
Of great endings. So much
That's
better.
awesome. Well, for my last one, as I said, I'm going a little darker. This is a big. I'm torn because I have two options, but I think one weirdly ends up being about winning and the negative costs of that. So I'm not going to pick that one. I'm going to go instead with Braveheart, which actually is about the same thing, trying to win. But they don't. But really, they do.
They do win. He dies, but they still win.
At
the end.
In the story of
Yes.
William Wallace, they're trying to win freedom from King Edward I of England, and they catch him and kill him. But by doing so, it does change things. But for poor William Wallace, it didn't work out so well.
No.
So that's my final pick, Braveheart.
Okay.
I was tempted to go with The Vanishing, but it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah,
right.
He wins.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Yeah. Whoops. Then what do you thought? See, the other one I had on my list was $1 Million Baby because I thought it was going to be a movie about boxing, but it ended up not being about boxing. So,
Mhm.
Right.
As it turns out, are many movies about boxing.
yes.
They're
That's
not
true.
movies about boxing. I had two Tom Hanks movies. Obviously, you'd have to put Saving Private Ryan on there. He does not meet with a good end. But then it just became about movies where the character that you like so much gets dead in a way that you don't like. And so I had the other Tom Hanks movie was Turner and Hooch. Oh my goodness. Oh, Hooch.
Yeah.
Oh, We Hardly Knew Ye. Of course, A Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors, Heather Langenkamp gets skewered. That was a surprise. But ultimately that movie came to an end, which is a win in and of itself.
Yes.
School of Rock was the kind of redemptive movie that I had on there. They don't actually win the big competition, but they do get a School of Rock out of it, which is cool.
I know.
All right, what are we doing this week?
All right, Rocky 2. I think we should say it is about winning.
Yes.
When winning is everything. Okay. That has to be on the list. That's good.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, what's next?
Rematches.
Oh, rematches. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is that I can think of only
No,
one
that-
movie, and
no,
that's
that works.
Rocky 2 right now.
So
So
Well,
just wait till Braveheart 2 comes out. Then-
okay.
What else? Well, isn't this is sort of the one where isn't he getting some celebrity? Not as much as in the third one where it's like, yes,
Yeah.
he's
No,
already, but isn't there, he's gotten a little
he
bit
has
more
a
fame and
dalliance
dealing with,
celebrity, and it's not
Yeah.
very good. Yeah.
guys, we have to do coma movies.
Oh,
okay.
okay.
Good. Excellent. Coma
Okay.
movies.
is it comas or is it just mysterious diseases to take a character
no,
out of
she's
him?
coma.
It's a
She's full
coma.
coma.
Oh, I know she's full coma, but that's sort of restrictive. But okay, we'll go with coma movies. That's fine. You said coma.
What about weird training methods? Because we have the chasing the chicken scene
The
in this
chicken?
one. I was thinking about movies that
Unusual
indulge
training?
in really weird, unusual training methods.
Sure.
Can you think of any?
Yeah.
Is that, or do we already have 3? Do we even need that?
Well,
We don't need it, but we could do that instead
We could do
of like rematches.
coma, unconventional trainings, and rematches. Yeah,
And cut it is about winning.
Yeah. Let's cut
yeah.
it. Is about
Because we could do that. Yeah,
That's
we could
good.
do that. Any of this
we
stuff.
got plenty more
We got-
Rocky movies coming up.
Okay, so we got rematches, coma movies, and unusual training methods.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, there it is.
All
I love
right.
it.
Woohoo!
All right. Is there a
Awesome.
way I can get Pay It Forward back on this list? That's what I'm going to try to do. There we go.
Pay it forward too.
This is
Pay it
excellent.
forward too. It's payback time.
All right. What's the next thing you're going to watch?
Rocky 4.
Yep, that's it for me too. Kind of a loaded question.
Yeah.
That's on deck for today. What about you, Steve?
I may try and do Roma today. Try and take a little chunk out of my Oscar list there. That's
Excellent. That is a great
easy
choice.
to do.
Great
Yes.
choice. All right. Nice work, gents. Pleasure Saturday matineeing with you.
Likewise.
I missed the Irish Andy today. There was no Irish Andy today. I'm sad.
You guys threw me with your joviality this morning.
It was too much. It was too
Parallel
much.
Sorry.
drove it
levity.
straight out.
So we need to be more dour in the morning to bring out the Irish Andy. Okay.
I have no reason to perk you up.
All right.
Oh, little leprechaun Andy. To perk us up.
All right. I got to hit the road. I'll catch you guys next week.
All right.
See ya.
Hondo.